All right, we're going to try this again. You may have seen the blooper one where I dropped everything. I think I've got it. I have to make sure I have the camera angle right. Okay, so we're making a wood and epoxy finish, nightlight, or a candle holder, one of the two. Either or. It's up to the children to decide. This is kind of this one. Oh, well, I'm having bloopers all over the place. Anyway, this is the one that it's ready to pour the epoxy into. We just have to mix the epoxy up. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't used this type of epoxy, and I have to do this very quickly. But I don't know if you can see. Let me get this close enough. You can see. Get some light in there. You can't see. Yeah. Anyway, what happened to this piece of wood? We're going to make a candle holder or a cup. That's the original intent. This wood is not the greatest to work with. I mean, I kind of knew that going into it. I was hoping it would hold up and it wouldn't tear out so much, but so, like I've said repeatedly, part of woodworking is you start a project. If it starts going south, if it starts going bad, you try to fix it, or you start all over. You think of something else to do, and that's the way it works, you know. This piece of wood, you can see what happened to this one. I'm going to explain. So you can see here's the original edge. And then it chipped pretty badly right here. But what we're going to do, let me just show you real quick. Well, I'm not going to show you how to do, I'm not going to show you how to do this. I'm just going to show you real quickly how we made like a form so we can pour epoxy in here. That's actually going to be the top. We'll have to take this piece of wood off. It's hot glue down here. And the epoxy will actually be the top. And the bottom, what we will have, I haven't bought them yet, but, and this is just example, this is too big, but, oh, let me get this one over here. Hold on. So we're going to hot glue this. Let me get the one here. We're going to hot glue this to this edge. That's all we have, really, that edge. Let me see. So it's going to look like that. Then we're going to put another piece of wood against this, kind of like that. And we'll have something to go all the way around like this. We have cardboard. I've never done this way. We usually use some kind of plastic, but we're going to try the cardboard. But the idea is we'll have a hole all the way through the bottom here. That will actually be where we pour the epoxy. In other words, this is going to be the top, right? The epoxy will, backtrack. This section here, you can't really tell because it's got the piece of wood hot glued. This section was kind of similar to this. And you can't really see, unfortunately, because of the light. Maybe you can see that. You can see a little bit. So you can see the bottom of the form. Well, what's going to happen is the epoxy, it's going to sit on the table like this. We'll have a hole up here. The epoxy is going to pour down here and fill in this gap. And then we won't have the epoxy go all the way through, but we'll have it maybe a 1/2 inch deep, something like that. And then what's going to happen is this will actually become the bottom. Same with this. This will be the bottom. And what we'll do is just pretend with me. There are battery powered little lights, candles. So pretend this is the candle. We're going to put the light in there. And say it's sitting like this, we can put the night light on top, turn on the night light. If we can do it with electrical power, we might, but we don't have, I don't think we have enough money to do that. I wish we did. So then this will be, the epoxy is going to be a light blue. So the light will shine through and give a sort of nice little soft light, bluish light. I think it's going to look really great. That's the plan. It's going to look great. So there is a couple options. Like I said, we can make cups out of this, which that was the original plan. Now we're going to try and make night lights. And it doesn't have to be a night light. It can be a candle holder, because the epoxy is just going to be a decorative finish to it. That's pretty much it. Pretty good size candle holder. Fit on top of there. So let me get these out of the way. Actually, I need that one. That's one we're working on. This is the one, same type of wood. We took it from a big 4x4 like this. We just cut it about 4 inches. Some of them want to do what I did with this. Let me see. Put that on the lathe. Just kind of made a decorative piece out of it. And I actually found some lathe chisels that enable me to take more of the inside out. So that's a cool addition to the shop. But what I might pour this epoxy, this part right here, and then drill a hole in the bottom to put the night light in. We'll see. And when we do that, I'll make a video and show it to you. So the epoxy coloring, this is blue. I like blue coloring. We're going to try to get some more, try to get some colors that children like. Yellow, red, purple, whatever's available. A lot of different colors coloring. So what we need is 2 cups. I prefer smaller ones than this, but it's what we've got. And I'm not exactly sure how much to make. That's the other thing about this little deal. So I think I probably make more than I need and pour the excess into here. And that's probably what I'm going to do. So let me get so you're gonna walk through this with me. Obviously need the instructions since I haven't worked with this before. One of the children actually did this with one of their projects. They made too much epoxy, and it was too dark. They made it too dark. So I think I have photos of that on Parent Square that you can see. It was a small little dish. She had decorative flowers in it. Originally she wanted a very pale blue coloring so you could see through the epoxy and see the carving or the wood burning she had done at the bottom of her dish, but she accidentally made it too dark, so we had to take some of that out, and we actually put it in. Oh, I don't think I'll be able to show you because I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I do. Let me get it over here real quick. So we just this was just totally just experimental, but let me get it closer. So with the excess, you can see it's blue, sort of a light bluish aqua, somewhere between turquoise and blue. Maybe more turquoise. Anyway, you can see it's hard as a rock. It's just basically plastic. But I put a leaf in the bottom of this. I thought, with the excess, I thought, you know what? Let's just experiment. Put a leaf in the bottom of this bowl. pour some epoxy in it and see what it looks like. I thought it looked cool, so I'm going to actually make a bowl like this so I can show the children. You know, cool little project we can make. They can make. So anyway, that's the excess, and that's what color. That's what color it was, but hers was so dark because her wood was dark, which is what kind of, you know, we had to make a change in her project very quickly because it dries quickly. We only had like 5 minutes to decide what to do, or less. So you can see it's pretty dark right in the middle, and hers was much deeper. Her dish was much deeper, so you couldn't even see the carving she did. So, and the wood was darker. Okay, that's enough of that. So that's basically what the top of the nightlight will look like. It's going to be this, and you can see parts of it are sort of clear, transparent, partially transparent, right on the edges. See if you can see the leaf through that a little bit. So we want the transparent. We want it to be transparent so that, you know, it'll look beautiful. Number two, the light will shine through up to the ceiling, and that'll be a cool little effect. So we're going to read these instructions, and I'm doing this for well, this is on Parent Square, and it's a link to the YouTube channel I made, but I have to do it this way because obviously this is a lesson, so the children can see how to do this. So first of all, let's find the instructions that we can actually read, unless I want to type all this into Google Translate. I don't feel like doing that. So you got to mix. Now for the children who are watching this, you have to read the instructions. There's a big joke about men not reading instructions. I'm here to put an end to that joke right now. You have to read the instructions in order to get this right, okay? That's what Jenna did when she made hers. So you mix 1-to-1 ratio, which I think I'm going to mix. I'm going to guess this to be, we've got 8 ounces. She used about 2. The other thing is, I've had this shop heated for 3 days because you have to have this at room temperature. So this could, if this isn't warm enough, this could bomb out, and we'll have to just wait till it gets warm. And like I said, start all over. But I promised one of the students I would do this for him, so here we are. 1-to-1 ratio. I think I'm going to mix 2 and 2 ounces would be 4 ounces. Will that be enough? I'm going to try 3 and 3, which would be 6 ounces. Yeah, I'm going to try that. 3 ounces. First of all, wherever you're doing this at, make sure the table is level. I had to level the table. I won't show you, but there's actually pieces of wood on the legs on this side. And that's not perfect, but it's close enough, because if the level is off, this is going to be tilted and to throw your measurement off. If that makes sense. Like if it's tilted back and you're trying to read, say, 3 ounces, this will read 3, but you'll have it'll be higher because it's tilted up like that. So this back part will be higher. And when you let it down, you might have 3.5 ounces. No big deal as long as they're both at the same angle. The other thing is you want to make sure your inside is clean. This is fairly clean. And it's going to be hard in this shop not to get dust in it, but we just have to do the best we can. So make sure these are clean. Get all your material out of here first. You're going to need these measuring cups. I'm going to look for smaller ones. You're going to need the A side, the B side, It says 2-part clear coat and casting resin, and one is A and one is B. They have to be the pretty as close. They have to really be precise. I wish we had digital scale. I'd use that instead of measuring. That'd be really more accurate. But we've got to measure this. You've got to get it just right, or else it won't cure right, because this turns into plastic like you saw. Make sure the table's level this way and this way. The way you can tell something's level is the bubble. I hope you can see that. If the bubble's on this side, that means this side's too high. If you lift that, it kind of balances out. So you want to get the bubble right in between those two lines. And I apologize for talking so fast, but I don't want to make this an hour video. You're going to need straws, which I have not used this method at all, but I saw it. It seemed to work great because when you pour the epoxy, you're going to get bubbles in the mix. And ideally, you can use a heat gun, but I don't really feel comfortable doing that here. So apparently a straw, you blow through a straw, and the heat from your breath causes the bubbles to dissolve. The bubbles dissolve by blowing into the mix. You'll see when I do that. Paper on the table. I've got it taped. You can see with some blue tape here. You can't see over here. It's basically painter's tape. You can see it right here. And that's to protect the table. What else? I think that's it. You can get a quick idea of the instructions by reading the box. And I hope this isn't backwards for you, but it says measure your, I can't read upside down. Measure equal amounts, mix thoroughly, and pour slowly. That's just a rough idea what's going to happen. So mix 1-to-1 ratio. You have 30 to 40 minutes at 70 degrees. According to the thermometer, it's 70 degrees in here right now. I'm not sure this is 70 degrees. It feels a little cold, so I'm a little concerned about that. But we're going to find out. Demold, or in other words, you can take the mold off, which is what this is. The molding. We use cardboard. This is actually that cellophane wrapping tape that you use for packing. That seems to work pretty good. So after we do this, I'll make another video of and show you how it looks after it's done, how to take it all apart. The full cure days. Let me slow down a little bit. Open time, you have about 30 to 40 minutes at 70 degrees to actually, it's workable for 30 to 40 minutes. I always cut that in half, 20 minutes, or I'm 15 to 20 minutes. And we'll see. I might make that 10 to 20. We'll see. Just to be safe. Better safe than sorry as far as making sure we get it poured before it cures. Demold tack-free time is 24 to 48 hours. So in other words, we're going to pour this, and it's Friday. We got a 3-day weekend. It should be done by next Friday for sure. But he's going to come in on his lunch break, maybe, and we might take it apart. Maybe I'll make a video of him taking it apart. But anyway, 24 to 48 hours, you can take the mold off. Then it's fully cured in 3 to 7 days, which means it's not going to be totally hard for about a week. So we can't really do much with it for about a week. We could test it, but we're not going to do too much. And I'll make another video how we finish it, sand it, how we actually put the light in and things like that. So here's what we're going to do. Measure equal amounts, A and B by volume, pour together into a mixing cup, and mix slowly until absolutely no swirls are seen. Scrape sides and bottom thoroughly. I forgot to tell you, you need a mixing stick. I'd rather have a old wooden ruler or a paint stick, but Apparently they have all been used up, so we're going to use this dowel. Do about the same job. Should do about the same job. And so we're going to do that right now. You're not going to see the numbers because all right. Oh, there's the ounces. Okay, I like that better. So we're going to use, maybe I'll use 4 ounces each. 3. Boy, yeah, I think if I use 4 and 4, that'd give me 8 ounces. So I think I'm going to do that. And this is A and B. I like to open them both first because, you know, you don't want to waste time. Put the lid back on very carefully, or just loosely. Oops. This is why I like to make sure the lids are pretty much open. There goes my famous light off. You gotta do this to make it turn back on. Don't ask me. I haven't figured that out. It's a motion detector. I can't figure out how to fix it. So we are going to, she used this for her mix last time. That's what I'm going to use, but I'll pour 1 in here at 4 ounces. And I just hope this is enough. Oh, it's really thick. I'm not sure this is going to work, folks. That is really thick. I think I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to make 2 ounces, I think, of each. It does. You can see the bubbles. I hope you can see the bubbles. I'm not sure you can, but there's little bubbles in there. I like to level it out just a little bit. It's not quite 2 ounces. So I got 2 ounces of A. Make sure you put the lid back on and don't get it mixed up with the other one. I don't really think this is at room temperature. It's too thick. So this may not work out, folks. But we're going to give it our best shot. I'm doing this by eyeball. I really don't like doing it this way. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just too easy to make a mistake. I'm just basically eyeballing it and going, okay, I hope that's good enough. Now, we're going to pour. Doesn't really matter which one you pour. Oh, yeah, it does. I want to use that for my mixing cup. So we're going to pour this into here. I suppose I could have done 2 and 2 in one dish. I don't know. I didn't want to. Make sure you can see this. And I have a funny feeling this is not going to work because it just didn't get to room temperature. Whoops. And you can see why I put the paper down. It's going to be a little messy. Then we just start mixing until there's no swirls, which I don't know if you can see this. The other thing I forgot to mention is you need gloves. You need gloves because this is very sticky. And we want to get the swirls out before we put the dye in. Otherwise, because the swirls, once the swirls are going, by swirls, you can see it's kind of a milky color with, it's kind of a milky color. That's the best way I can describe it. You want it to be as clear as you can possibly get it. Get the sides. This takes about 2 minutes or so, maybe 3. This is boring, but it's got to be done. I would pause the video while I'm doing this. Let me get it closer. Maybe you can see. No, you can't. I would pause the video, but I don't have that ability. This is live. I don't have the space on my phone to actually pause it or to actually record it on my phone. So I have to do it like this for now. That might be that might be more than enough. 4 or 5 ounces. So you read the instructions while we're doing this. Pour a small amount of this casting. It's called Amazing Clear Cast onto the surface, and towel or brush a thin coat onto the surface. We can do that. Prior to pouring, I can't read this while I'm... Oh, that's coating preparation. Sorry, that's not. Measure equal amounts. Pour onto surface. Okay, you mix it till there's absolutely no swirls. This is not clear. It's going to be actually sort of a milky color. And I'm probably going to overmix because I want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed because of the temperature in the shop. Minimizing bubbles. After pouring each side into your mix, let the resin sit for 3 minutes. I did not do that. So maybe men still don't read directions. Helps minimize bubbles. Ah, well, here's something I didn't see last time, and I don't have it. If you want to minimize bubbles, or popping the bubbles after you pour, you wait about 10 minutes, spray some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, onto the surface using a fine mist sprayer or atomizer. The alcohol will pop the bubbles on contact. Wow, see, I didn't see that last time. And I think that's pretty much done. I'll let you see what it looks like. The dye in, there's one little piece of dirt in there that I would like to get out. Get that, I don't know if you can see that. I want to get that out of there. There we go. Okay, so I'll actually let some pour off the stick. You can see it's kind of a milky, I hope you can see. I'm having a hard time with the angle. Sort of a milky color. Not a lot of bubbles left. So now, after that, my only concern is whether or not it's going to cure properly because of the temperature. That is my only concern. So we get this out of the way. We're going to put one drop in here at a time and then mix it very carefully. Please don't be clogged up. If it doesn't come out, don't squeeze it into the mix. Put it on the side on the table and squeeze until some starts coming out. And it is pretty much frozen, I think. Oh, I see what. Oh, there we go. So you can see, boy, it's really hard coming out. I'm not sure if it's frozen or what. We're just going to get a little drop in there, though. You can see it's bluish color. I'm not going to put much in there. I'm squeezing this really hard. I hope it doesn't all come flying out. We're going to do it like this. I'm going to put it on the stick without actually getting it. There we go. Just one drop. Start mixing that in. Wow, what a difference. You can see my gloves. You can see how it turned. That might be too dark, actually. They're going to find out. Now we have, what do we have? 30 to 40 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes to 15 to 30 minutes to work with this. That's all the dye I'm putting in there because I think that is almost too dark. That's another reason you wear the gloves. And that will be hard to come off if you don't. I'm not wearing a apron, but if you do this, wear an apron, guys. If it splashes on you, it's going to be hard to come off. Especially now that's mixed in with the plastic. All right, I think that might be ready to pour. Let's see if we can get an idea what it's going to look like. Let's put it on. Let's put it on my pop top. We've got more than enough, so I can spare a little. I hope it doesn't leak. It's going to leak a little, but you can see Yeah, I can see the slit where your straw goes through. So yeah, that's gonna look cool. Very cool. All right, so we're gonna do this number. We're done here. I'll use that to put. Actually, I want to save as much of that as I can. So I'm gonna do something that I did not see on the video. I'm gonna blow in the mix first and then pour it. That way I can get rid of some of the bubbles right now. That's pretty amazing. Okay, it works. So I'm going to pour some of it now, and I hope it does not leak out the sides. That's my other concern. I'm going to let that settle a little bit because it's got to spread out. I'm actually going to, whoops, wrong side. I'm actually going to just kind of move that around a little bit. Mr. D, you messed up a little bit. I think that's going to work great. There might be a few bubbles in there. Not 100% sure. I'm going to blow some more up, and you can't see it. I can't tilt this, and I can't pick up the camera. So you're just going to have to trust me. It's about that far from the top, maybe, well, I'm going to say about a 1/4 inch or less. So I'm going to get some bubbles out of this layer, pour some more, and get the bubbles out again. Let this settle a little bit. Pour some more. Oh, I hope I made enough. Just barely, I think. Oh, just barely enough. Whew, that was close. So, for this one, I needed 4 ounces. We're going to sand that off later. So this one they needed, what was that, 5 ounces. Wow. For that other one, the one that was pretty rough, will probably need about 8 ounces, I'm going to guess. And I sure hope that is not too dark, but we won't know until we take it off. I'm going to pour a little bit more in there. All right, that's pretty much it for now. There's some leaking on the sides. A little bit. Well, I think that's my fingerprint. Just a little bit on the sides. That should be okay. That's kind of expected. That's my fingerprints, I think. I hope. Better be. Yes, it is. Okay. So we're just going to let this sit. And we've got a little bit extra left over. Let me find something I can pour it in. Let me pour it in my little project. Put this on the side. This is kind of experimental. but I think personally this is going to turn out great. Like I said, I'll make another video, whether it's good or bad, whether it turned out great or whether we made a mistake. I'll put another video on there so we can see what we did right and what we did wrong, and that's how you learn. I'll pour a little bit in this. If there's any left over on the next batch, I'll use that for this too. Scrape a little bit more of this out, as much as I can. It's already starting to cure. So I want to make sure I get it poured in here before it's no longer usable. You don't have a lot of time with this. And in our shop, I'm not even sure this is going to work. It may not cure right because of the temperature. Oh no! I got it on the side of my... Okie doke. Let me get a piece, let me get a paper towel and get that off there real quick. If you don't make a mistake in woodworking, you're not doing woodworking. That's what I say. There we go. But that was easy to fix. I'm gonna put this right here. I'm going to try to angle that camera so you can actually see the bubbles. Lower this just a little bit. Put it right here. I wonder if I can zoom in at all. Hope. So lower this just a little bit. If you see my big head in the way, I apologize. But this is not a fancy studio. I think you can see a little bit. All right, let's see if I can do this with the camera in the way. But you can see all those tiny little bubbles. And by blowing on it, ideally, like I said, a heat gun would be ideal. But we're going to do this. I don't know if my head's going to be in the way. Try not to hyperventilate like the old guy is. But yeah, you can see the bubbles. I kind of like those. I kind of like that. I hope it's going to cure right. I really do. It almost has a marbly effect. So I kind of like that. Get the light back on. Now the next time what I might do to get a real marble effect is, and that would be totally experimental because I've never done it, is to pour it in clear, then just put just a tiny bit of coloring in there. And like put the coloring on a stick and just put little streaks in it, and then blow with the straw. And I have actually seen techniques like that where it does have a marbly effect. So we might do it that way. Next time, we'll see. I don't know if my head's in the way or not. Oh, I was doing the students, and look what I did. I put the straw too far in there. I'll tell you what, with mine, I am going to do an experiment. Okay, I have no idea how this is going to work. This could be a total flop, or it could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. So what I have here is some paint and water mixture. Yep, paint and water mixture. I'm just going to put a couple of drops from a stick onto there. If I can get it on there. Maybe we'll get that mark. I don't know. This could totally ruin it. We'll see. So you do that, and then you actually blow the paint around to get the streaks. What we will do, since that doesn't seem to be working right, I mean, it looks okay. I'm gonna actually try to put the actual paint on. Find it right here, because the paint's much thicker, so it should give it. Well, what it should do and what it might do is two different things. I have no idea what it's going to do. So we get enough paint on there like that, just to kind of drop it around in here. Like I said, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. This could be a total bomb. I suppose I could leave it just like that, but I'm going to... I'm also going to do this. I'm going to take the other side. I'm actually going to mix that in there a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's looking cool. Yeah, a little bit too much of a marbly effect, but I think that looks pretty awesome. Let's see if it cures right. Because I don't know if paint and epoxy will cure together. It could be a total train wreck. But I like that effect. Let's swirl it around just a little bit more. I think we'll just stop right there. see what happens. I have no idea what will happen. But that's cool. That's all. That's pretty much it for today. We're going to see what happens. I can't see. Yeah, you can see it okay. Oh, you can see. I'll show you this on the bottom. It's kind of leaking out just a little bit. That's kind of normal. It will actually stop after a while, and it's going to cure up. We're going to do it like this so that we don't lose it. We'll lose a little bit, but not too much. All right, so let me see if you can see both of those. Nope. All right. So I have no idea what that's going to look like. We'll find out next video. That one, it's leaking pretty bad actually. So I'm going to put a piece of wood under there. So I don't want to lose it all. All right. Might have lost some, but I don't think we lost. Well, I don't think we're going to lose much more. We're going to find out. You know, we hot glued it on there to seal it all up, and we're still losing just a little bit. So we must not have gotten the glue very uniform, or my biggest guess is that the paper's just not holding up quite well enough. The way I saw it done is they used packing tape and made a wall with the packing tape, which held. It was amazing. It worked great. But we didn't have any, so we just made do with what we have. And like I said, sometimes woodworking is about solving problems. If that doesn't work, and when you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of tools and a lot of, you know, what we actually want and what we have are two different things. So, but if it doesn't turn out right, guess what? We're gonna pour it again. We're not gonna lose it all for sure. But we'll pour it again and get it right. So far, I think it's going to work out pretty good. And I think on mine, the watery paint is kind of floating to the top. So obviously that doesn't work very well. The regular paint's mixed in pretty well with this. So with mine, when I make another layer, that will all mix in together. Should turn out fairly well. Like I said, it's all an experiment. With mine, I will not worry about that because I'm going to pour some more, so not worried about that. But with mine, I will I'll layer mine, and I might actually put something here, a small leaf, something, a rock, and we'll see. I don't know yet, but and then make the next coat totally clear so it dries clear. And as I've said over and over, totally experimental because I'm not sure. You know, the room temperature is 70, but this feels cold to the touch, so I'm not sure. I'm hoping it works. It may not because of the temperature. It's fun experimenting. And I personally think it's going to work out okay. That's pretty much stopped leaking. His is looking pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit more. All right, we'll call it a day like that. and that'll be it. I'll clean up tomorrow. I'm going to come by tomorrow and do a little more work. But we'll clean it up. Maybe I'll make a video tomorrow if it's cured. Have to leave the heat on so it cures properly. But that's it for this little episode for this project. We have more to do. We're going to eventually sand the epoxy, then coat it with either paste wax or polyurethane. I have to find out if you can mix those two. I'm not sure if I can, but we're also going to sand this. We're going to round the edges a little bit, but well, actually, I should say we're going to round it. That's up to the student if he wants to do it. But we are going to sand it. We have to get it really smooth finish. Make the grain pop out like this. This is the grains. This is actually the same wood, same type of wood. Came from the same 2 4x4. So make the grain pop out like that. Make it real noticeable. And then we'll stain it maybe with polyurethane or whatever the student wants. I know some techniques to use paint. Oops. I knew some techniques to use paint and water that you can stain it. So like say if it's green paint and water, you're rubbing it in with a wet rag or with a rag, and or you can paint it on with a brush and then you wipe it off with a rag. And what happens is it causes the color to just turn almost like a pastel green or blue, whatever color you're using, white, but it makes the grain still show through. So it's a really cool effect. And so that's it. This is a long video. I know it's long, but that's how we do that. And you know, if I wasn't making the video, it'd probably take 20 minutes or less. But, so that's going to be it. Let me put this up here a little bit. See if you can see the rest of my face real quick. Cool. All right. Not quite. Let's raise this up just a tad bit. There we go. That's going to be good enough for today, I think. I'm a photographer, so that kind of drives me cuckoo. All right. Amazing finished. It's about 14. How much was this? $18 on sale. I think I got this at Joann's. I think next time I buy a gallon, so we have enough, more than enough. This was experimental, but amazing clear cast, some straws, or a heat gun. But this works. I was pretty impressed with how this works. And for that mixture, I used what, 2.5. The other student used maybe 2, so we've got about 4 ounces each. Just call this the woodworking blooper show, okay? So anyway, we've got about 4 ounces of each, so we've got enough for, I don't know, 2 or 3 more projects, and have to buy some more of that. This was separate, didn't come with the clear cast, but this blue dye, and it didn't take much to turn it. It's that's still almost too dark, but you can see the color here. So I think that's it. Maybe a little white paint. That was experimental. That's actually satin. No, it's kind of an off-white color, but anyway, white. And that's it. Some sticks, stirring sticks, paper. Need a table, unless you think you can do this on your lap without spilling anything. If you can do that, you can take my place. So that's it. And watch the video, guys. Learn from it. And we're going to see when we get back to class. Get back over here. When we get back to class next week, we will see, we're going to see the finished product, see what happened. Could be a total mess, could be something super great. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys next week and have a good one. Let me turn this off this way. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye. Well, I'll say bye as soon as I can turn this off. There we go.